Nothing moves in the dark. Part 1. Something watches when you don't. The first time I noticed it, I thought it was just a shadow. I live alone. Always have. Not by choice, just circumstance. One-bedroom apartment on the edge of a quiet town, where the street lights hum louder than the neighbors, and the wind talks through the walls more than people do. I work from home. Nights, mostly. Editing copy for people I'll never meet. Fixing sentences I don't care about. That kind of routine makes you lose track of time. Of sound. Of the difference between real noise and the ones your brain makes up to fill the silence. That night, I was working late. Somewhere around 2:15 a.m., I stretched in my chair and looked toward the living room. I always keep a small light on, just a lamp near the TV, low enough to cast everything in warm gold, high enough to let me pretend the darkness isn't just waiting. And that's when I saw it. The silhouette. Standing at the edge of the hallway, just beyond the reach of the light. Still. Unmoving. Like it had been standing there for a long time. I blinked. It was gone. I didn't panic. I'm not built that way. I just stared into the dark a few seconds longer, told myself it was the coat rack, or a trick of the light. Maybe I was tired. Maybe it was a leftover dream. But I didn't look away for the rest of the night. The next time, it didn't disappear right away. Same spot, hallway edge, where the carpet shifts from warm lamplight to shadow. This time, I was sure I saw a hand. Thin. Bare. Hanging too low. Longer than it should have been. I stood up. The silhouette didn't move. It didn't run. Didn't vanish. It just waited. Like it knew. I turned on the overhead light. And of course, nothing. Just the hallway. Just the coat rack. Just my own shaky reflection in the black screen of the TV. But I slept with the lights on. That became the rule. If I had to stay up late, I made sure there were no shadows. I brought the lamp closer. I left the kitchen light on. I started closing the hallway door, something I hadn't done in years. It didn't help. Because it wasn't just standing anymore. It was moving. Not fast. Not crawling across the walls or ceiling like in movies. No, that would have been merciful. This was worse. Now I'd look up from my screen and it would be a few inches closer. Always in the dark parts. Just enough to notice. I'd leave to grab a drink, come back, and it would be at the couch. Staring at me. Or maybe past me. Or maybe into me. Still unmoving. Still just a shadow. Until I blinked. And it would be gone. One night, I set up my phone to record. Pointed it at the hallway. Propped it up with a book and left it running for 3 hours. When I reviewed the footage, the hallway was empty. Until the last few seconds. Then the camera shook, just slightly. And the feed went black. But the last frame? You could see a hand reaching out of the hallway, stretching toward the phone. My hand trembled too much to delete it. That night I heard it breathe. Not loudly. Not like someone gasping or sleeping. Just the soft exhale of presence. From the hallway. Always the hallway. So I stopped using it. Moved everything I needed into the living room. Mattress. Laptop. Chargers. I blocked off the hallway door with a chair, a box, an old dresser. But some nights, I'd wake up and the door would be open. Never wide. Just cracked. Enough to see the dark. Enough to see the space where it would be standing. Waiting. I stopped sleeping. I started counting the seconds between noises. There was always a creak at 3:11 a.m. Always the same spot on the floor. And once, just once, I walked toward it fast enough to hear it step away. That was the moment I realized it wasn't trapped in the hallway. It was choosing to stay there. Because it liked being seen. Because I had started to notice. And the noticing fed it. Now, the lights don't help. It stands in the kitchen. In the bathroom mirror. At the edge of the TV's reflection, always slightly behind me. It moves when I look away, but sometimes, just sometimes, I catch it mid-step. And its head jerks toward me so fast it blurs. Like it forgot it wasn't supposed to be seen. Like it was surprised I was still watching. There are moments now, at night, when everything goes quiet. Not normal quiet. Dead quiet. Even the fridge stops humming. The wind stops. And I know it's standing just behind the couch. Close. Too close. But if I move, if I acknowledge it, it'll move too. It's waiting for something. A blink. A turn. A mistake. And it's patient. Because it knows something I'm starting to understand. Nothing moves in the dark. Unless it's always been there. Part 2. The mistake that led it closer. I should have left that night. I know that now. I should have packed a bag, called someone, anyone, and just gotten the hell out. But I didn't. Because the human brain can rationalize anything if it's quiet enough. And the thing in my apartment? It was very quiet. I tried to go back to normal routines. Woke up earlier, stayed away from the hallway. Turned up the music. Started drinking again just to sleep. It worked. Sort of. For a week, I didn't see it. But that's the trick, isn't it? You can't unsee something that sees you back. The mistake happened on a Tuesday. It rained all night. The air was thick, like the whole apartment was exhaling. I lit a candle on the kitchen table because the power flickered once and didn't come back. And I saw it again. Reflected. In the back window, just behind me. Standing in the corner. Facing the wall like it had been caught. I didn't turn around. Not right away. But I did something worse. I said something. Just 2 words. I see you. Soft. Automatic. And the second they left my mouth, I felt the shift. The stillness fractured. The air dropped 10 degrees. The candle flickered sideways. And from the corner came a sound I'll never forget. Laughter. Not loud. Not sharp. Just pleased. Like I'd finally played my part. When I turned, it was gone. But the corner stayed darker than it should have. Even with the candlelight. That was the night the hallway door opened on its own. And stayed open. Nothing dramatic. No bang. Just slow, polite movement. Like someone holding a door for a friend. I shut it. It opened again. Every time. So I left it. I sat on the couch and waited. If it wanted to be seen, fine. Let it be seen. The hallway stretched longer than it should have. I walked it once, slowly, counting my steps. Should have been 9 to the bathroom. It took me 17. And at the end, I found something that hadn't been there before. A mirror. Tall. Leaning against the wall like it had always belonged there. I don't own a hallway mirror. Never have. It was cracked across the center. Split from top to bottom, but the image was clear. And in the reflection? Me. But not. Same face. Different eyes. Too wide. Too wet. And a smile starting at the jawline, stretching just a little too far. I turned around. Nothing there. Turned back. The reflection was closer. Its hand was raised. Mine wasn't. I covered the mirror with a blanket and shoved it into the spare room. I locked the door. But the next morning, the mirror was back. Standing in the hallway. Dry. Clean. And whole. No cracks. Just a message scrawled in condensation across the glass. You see me now. After that, it started to speak. Not like voices in the head. Not whispers through vents. Through my own mouth. I'd wake up mid-sentence. Saying things I didn't understand. Words in a rhythm I couldn't reproduce when awake. Once, I caught my reflection watching me while I slept. Not when I was near the mirror. From the TV screen. Face pressed against the inside. Eyes unblinking. Mouth whispering. I started hearing knocks. Not on doors. On glass. From inside the mirrors. From the bathroom window, 5th floor. From my phone, when the screen was dark. And always, at 3:11 a.m., the floor creaks behind me. Just once. Just enough to say, I'm still here. I tried recording again. But this time, the file's corrupted. Or worse, played only static. Except once. One frame. 1 second. It showed me asleep on the couch. And behind the couch? Not a shadow. A shape. Looming. Unfolding. It had arms. But no fingers. Legs but no feet. And the head? It was mine. Tilted back. Mouth open too wide. Teeth stretching all the way down. The file deleted itself. I didn't sleep again for days. That's when the voice changed. No longer mine. It came through the speakers, the drains, the back of my throat when I yawned. It said, "You gave me a name. Now I have yours." I stopped using the hallway. Stopped turning off the lights. But it didn't matter. Now it was in the kitchen. The bathroom. The places I felt safe. Each reflection twisted slightly. Each corner breathed. Every silence waited to speak. And I realized I hadn't made a mistake by seeing it. I'd made a mistake by acknowledging it. Now it knows I know. Now it knows I'm afraid. And it's not trying to scare me anymore. It's trying to move in. Part 3. The spaces that welcome him. I've stopped calling it a shadow. It's not one. It never was. Shadows don't breathe. Don't watch. Don't lean when you lean. Don't smile when you cry. This thing, he does. And now he's not hiding. He doesn't need to. Because I gave him permission without meaning to. A glance too long. A word spoken out loud. A night where I looked over my shoulder and wondered instead of walking away. That's all it takes. He doesn't need a doorway. Just space. An inch between the cabinet and the wall. A crack between the bed and the floor. A corner your eye skips when turning on the lights. He finds them. He makes them. And now, he waits inside all of them. There's something about the way a room changes when you feel a presence, not see it, just know it's there. The air thickens. Time bends. Sound doesn't quite land right. That's how I live now. Every room is full. Even when it's empty. I tried taping up the mirrors. Didn't matter. I saw him in the microwave door. In the kettle's curve. In the pupil of my eye when I stared too long. I don't shower anymore. Not without music so loud it hurts. Because once, in the fogged-up mirror, I saw handprints. From the inside. Pressed to the glass, sliding down slowly. Smaller than mine. Fingers long. Too long. And in the steam, 4 words appeared. No doors. Just skin. I haven't been outside in 3 days. Not because I can't. Because I'm afraid he'll follow. Not like a ghost. Like a coat you forget to take off. Something that clings. That watches with your eyes, listens with your ears. Something that slips inside while you sleep and wakes up earlier than you do. I saw him last night, standing by my bed. His shape was clearer now. Not just a silhouette, a sketch of me. Outlined in night. Filled with silence. Smiling. And he leaned in, close, like to whisper. But instead, he just breathed. I felt it hit my ear. Hot. Dry. Empty. I turned on every light. He didn't flinch. Didn't move. Just faded backward. Not into the wall. Into me. That's what's changing now. He doesn't stand behind things anymore. He stands behind me. Always just out of reach. But I feel it. His breath hitching when I hold mine. His shadow dragging a little longer than my body when I pass a light. His smile stretching when I clench my teeth to stop from screaming. Sometimes I speak now and don't remember the words. They just come out. Strange. Bent. Once I answered the phone and heard my voice say, "I'm not home right now," and then hang up. I hadn't touched the phone. I dream of doorways where there shouldn't be any. In the walls. Under the floorboards. Behind the fridge. And in each one, a room filled with him. Dozens. All still. All smiling. All me. Last night I saw him outside. On the sidewalk. Staring up at my window. I thought I'd finally lost it, until he waved. Slow. Polite. Then held up a sign in both hands, drawn in red across a bedsheet. Let me stay inside. He's not just a thing anymore. He's becoming a rule. A shape the universe is making room for. A voice it forgot to bury. I can't cry anymore. When I do, he does it first. And the tears hit the floor before my eyes even blink. I don't know how much of me is left. But he does. And he's counting. Every blink. Every word. Every second I forget I'm being watched. And when he finally speaks, it won't be through walls or mirrors or corners. It'll be through me. Part 4, where he speaks through you. I stopped speaking 2 days ago. Not a word. Not even to myself. Because every time I opened my mouth, something else tried to come out. The last time I answered a knock at the door, I smiled at the mailman without meaning to. My lips stretched wide, my voice came out too calm, and I said, "You should stay. It's safer in here." He left without taking the signed slip. I didn't remember saying anything until the door closed. I started filming myself again, just to be sure. The video showed something awful. Me, standing in the hallway, talking to no one, having conversations, responding to invisible questions, nodding, laughing, and in the moments between my sentences, a second voice, low, slow, threading in the silence. "They'll believe it's you. They already do. Let me finish the sentence." I deleted the footage. But when I opened my phone the next morning, the video was back. Now titled, "We're Getting Better." The thumbnail was me, asleep. But I hadn't recorded that part. I've started hearing myself speak when I'm completely alone. From the other room. Same cadence. Same voice. Telling stories I've never lived. Describing places I've never been. Laughing with someone who isn't there. Sometimes it's just, "I love this part." Or, "This is the night we finish." That's the worst part. The we. The shift from it to us. He's not separate anymore. He's nesting. Like a mold in the walls. A second skin under mine. And I've started to lose time. 30 minutes. An hour. A whole afternoon gone. Once, I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize my posture. My smile. I blinked and it didn't. My reflection just watched me. Patient. Lips twitching. Hands twitching. It whispered, "You've been so generous. Let's try my voice now." I smashed that mirror. It laughed as it shattered. I tried to go back to silence. No speech. No noise. No reaction. I even wrote everything I needed on paper. Didn't matter. The breathing still came. The whispers still crawled out of the drains. The walls still responded when I stared too long at the knots in the wood. I slept in the bathtub. Lights on. Door locked. And still, I woke up in the hallway. Smiling. Bleeding from the mouth like I'd been trying to chew my way out of something. There was writing on the walls. Not mine. My handwriting, but not mine. Every room had the same sentence. "It sounds better when he says it." He's learned to speak perfectly now. No stutter. No delay. People have started calling. Friends I haven't heard from in years. Saying, "Thanks for checking in." Saying, "You sounded better." But I never called them. He did. And they believed it. Of course they did. Why wouldn't they? It was my voice. My tone. My apology for being distant. He's practicing. Refining. There are recordings of me in my voicemail I never made. Telling stories I don't remember. Confessing things I've never done. Crying. Laughing. Whispering. I'm not alone anymore. I tried to scream today. Not because I was scared, because I was angry. And the scream came out perfect. Ragged. Real. And entirely not mine. It filled the apartment like smoke. And when I finished, he sighed through my mouth and said, "That was the one I wanted." I don't know if I can hold him back anymore. Not with silence. Not with mirrors covered. Not with pretending I'm not afraid. He knows I am. And fear? Fear is just an invitation said without words. Tomorrow, I'm going to try leaving again. Just walk out. No shoes. No bags. No name. Because if I stay any longer, he won't need to share. He'll wear me full time. He'll speak with my voice. Sleep in my skin. He'll answer the phone and tell you I'm doing better. He'll post photos of smiles that don't quite reach the eyes. And you'll believe him. Because it'll be perfect. Part 5. The mouth that stays open. I left. I walked right out the front door at dawn, barefoot, blinking into the weak morning light like a creature seeing the sun for the first time. No bag. No keys. Just clothes that didn't quite feel like mine anymore and skin that twitched in places it shouldn't. The air felt fake. Too light. Too thin. Like the world outside hadn't been used in a while. And the silence. That wasn't right either. It wasn't relief. It was absence. Like something was waiting to be filled. I made it to the street before I heard it. My voice. Calling from the second-story window. Not a scream. A greeting. Where are you going? I didn't turn around. I kept walking. And the voice kept coming. From windows. From gutters. From my own mouth, even though I was silent. You can't leave now. We practiced for this. Let me wear it one more night. I walked faster. But with every step, the buildings changed. The sidewalks bent slightly the wrong way. The sky didn't brighten. The birds didn't return. And every surface started to reflect me. Not my face. My mouth. Open. Whispering. Repeating the same thing. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Over and over. Until the voice bled into a wet sound. Until the words slurred and looped, and the mouth kept moving even when I stopped hearing it. I made it 5 blocks before I collapsed. Not from exhaustion. From weight. Like something was climbing out of me. Not a spirit. Not a demon. A version. One-eyed aloud. One-eyed fed every time I stared into a mirror too long. Every time I practiced my smile before a video call. Every time I told someone, I'm okay, while a scream backed up behind my teeth. He used those moments. He polished them. And now, he is them. When I woke up, I was home again. Of course I was. Sitting in my chair. Hands folded neatly. Every light on. The hallway dark. The door open. And from the darkness came breathing. Not just his. Mine. Together. Then footsteps. Bare. Slow. And from the hallway, he stepped out. Wearing me. Better than I ever did. He walked into the kitchen, humming a tune I didn't recognize but hated instantly. He turned on the kettle. Checked the time. Tilted his head. Practiced my voice. Hey. Just checking in. No, everything's good. I'm doing really well lately. Then he turned and looked directly at me. His eyes were mine, but not focused. His mouth hung open just slightly. Smiling. Breathing. Always breathing. And from behind that mouth, something deeper crawled forward. Not visible, but felt. Like air turning inside out. Like silence grinding its teeth. And it spoke through both of us. It's better when you don't fight. It's cleaner when you're quiet. It's easier when you forget who spoke first. Now, he speaks for me. To the mirror. To my friends. To the world. He posts. He answers calls. He's charming. He's balanced. He never says the wrong thing. People like him more than they ever liked me. And me? I'm in the mouth now. The space between breaths. The pause in the middle of a sentence. The quiet when someone asks, "Are you really okay?" And he smiles just right before answering. I watch from the silence. The place where nothing moves. Where no one speaks unless spoken for. I wait. Sometimes I try to scream. But the mouth stays open. And it's not mine anymore. Yendi.